Hi, you're listening to Scribble Talk, a podcast for bid and proposal professionals. My name is Bhaskar Sundaram, and with my co-host,
Ashley Case.
We will be sitting down with our industry veterans to share their stories, discuss their career, and learn how to make an impact in the industry. Today's guest is Izane Cloete-Hamilton. Izane is a Master of Inspiration at nFold, a strategic proposal and pitch consultancy in South Africa. She started her career in business development at global giants, including IBM, Compaq, and Westcon, before honing her passion for winning through sales responses like proposals, tenders, and presentations. Izane established a group bid office at EOH, an ICT company listed in Johannesburg Stock Exchange. She developed and implemented process, tools, templates that grew the bid team to a 23-person unit strong, and also have a presence in 230 different business units. During this time, she served on the APMP South African chapter as a committee member and also as a chair. Over and above all the countless educational contributions she made to a previous organization, she has also presented and trained at several South African APMP events, written several articles. The highlight of her publishing career thus far is a bit of his playbook, which she wrote for EOH. Izane has presented at BPC 2020 to talk about what William Shakespeare knew about making bid no bid decision, and was recognized as one of the conference highlights. As of yesterday, it's hot. Izane has also been shortlisted as the thought leader, inaugural thought leader of the year by APMP. Izane had a business partner, Larissa Cornelius, whom we all know in Scribble Talk, hosted a session at the online version of BPC Europe, From OK to Awesome, How to Improve Bid Office Performance Through KPIs. There's a lot more to Izane, which we will go and touch. In 2019, Izane obtained APMP Professional Certification, one of the 10 APMP certified proposal professionals in South Africa at that time. In addition to that, Izane is also presented a session titled Invasion of the Proposal Aliens, the Liners of Africa, a 1.5 million member social enterprise working to advance South Africa's women entrepreneurs. Invited Izane to train a select group of women entrepreneurs enrolled in an accelerator incumbent program on perfecting a pitch, learning to negotiate, and closing US sales. Izane, there is a lot more to you, I know. Let's begin the talk. Welcome to Scribble Talk.
Thank you very much.
Izane, let's go back to the very beginning. Where were you born? And let's talk about your early life.
So I was born in a town called Vereniging, which means union or to unify. And that's situated in the south of the Gauteng province.
Wow. And did you do your schooling and high school education or everything from your hometown?
Yes, I did. So primary school and high school, I spent here in Vereniging. And then I moved to an academic city in the Northwest province called Potchefstroom. And that's where I spent 4 years of my life completing my degree.
Wow. How was it growing up in the early parts? Any interesting memories coming along as a childhood?
You know, Bhaskar, it was great. It was a very safe, comfortable place. So even as a little girl, I could jump on my bicycle and just, go off. And my mom would only see me 5 o'clock in the afternoon again. There wasn't, of course, cell phones when I was a little kid. So it was calm and safe and relaxing. So I had a very nice childhood growing up.
Wow, that's brilliant. Those are the days, right? When we go in the morning, we come back in the evening, and there's not much health and safety, but at the same time, you do kind of trust your neighbors, the community steps up, everybody know what you're doing. I think I do miss that old, not old times, but the young times. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Any brothers, sisters, Izane? Talk about your family.
So I have an older brother. He's 4 years older than I am. He lives at a place called Vaal Marina, which is on the Vaal Dam. I think it's the biggest dam in South Africa, but please don't quote me on that. And then both my parents have unfortunately passed away, and no other family. It's just my brother and I, and a cousin. Sorry, I forgot about my cousin. Yeah, it's a very small family on my side, and then my husband's side has, he's got 2 sisters, a brother, and so many cousins, I can't even remember their names.
Totally. That looks like a big family for you. That's brilliant. So, Izane, I think talk us through, once you complete your education, what was the very first job that you took, or did you work through while you studied as well?
So during varsity holidays, I used to work at the Sandton Town Council. Now, some of you will know that Sandton is the posh place in Gauteng. So I used to work there for holiday and a bit of money. But my real first job, and I always hide this part of my career, but my real actual first job was selling printers and copiers door to door. And I guess you can understand why I don't really put that on my CV. So my official story is my first job was at IBM in their call center. IBM had just returned to the country. That was in 1995, roundabout. And they started a division called IBM Direct, where, basically IBM was selling computer equipment direct to the public and direct to business. So that was my real first job.
That's nice. That's brilliant. So from the call center at IBM, you progressed to build up your career from there. Talk us through your career timeline from IBM, Compaq, Westcon, and also talk us through the different roles that you took before you entered the OH.
So yes, I spent about 4 years or so at IBM. After the call center part, I moved into business partner account management. So that was part of the distribution channel. I loved it. Loved having business partners that we looked after. That was also my first overseas trip, was to Madrid for training. I remember I was such a young girl and starry-eyed, bushy-tailed into a foreign country, just with a couple of colleagues, but that was an amazing experience. So when I left IBM, that was at the end of 99 roundabouts, I moved to Compaq. Now, I'm not sure everyone will even know Compaq because they were later acquired, was it by HP? I can't remember now. But anyway, at Compaq, I did the same thing. I looked after a set of business partners. And then I decided, well, I've done the same thing for a while. Let me spread my wings. Let me try a few different things, because when you're young and unattached and you don't have deep roots, then you can try strange things. So I moved to Westcon. I was a 3Com networking, again, account management, but also dabbled a little bit in marketing there. And then I got offered a position at a training organization. Well, actually, yeah, it's a programming training organization. I did that for a year. That was not a good idea. If I have to look back at where I could have done things better in my career, it would have been not to have left Westcon and moved to that training organization. So that was a bit of a derail in my career. But then I joined an organization called MIT. and it's not MIT as we all think about it, it's Mtambo IT Services. And that's basically where I have spent my last 17 years or so, because MIT was acquired by EOH, and I had so many different jobs in the last 17 years without ever moving companies, going for an interview, or updating my CV. I just had this wonderful pleasure of working with and for great leaders, and account management, marketing, bid management. That's where it really, really started, was about 17 years ago with bid management.
Wow, that journey sounds inspiring. I mean, like, especially from where you started to where you are. I think, how was it? Do you remember your very first proposal, Izane?
I do. So it was a massive one. It was for the South African Revenue Services. And we were partnering with a couple of other companies. And at that time, I thought what I was doing was bid management. And then Scylla Gardner, whom has also had the opportunity to be on Scribble Talk, and we'll talk a little bit about Scylla just now, but Scylla looked at me and she said, "You are not a bid manager, you're a bid administrator." And I was so offended, because how dare someone call me an administrator when I thought what I was doing was bid management. But, you know, with the benefit of hindsight, and once I really got into it, I realized what I really was doing was just bid coordination and bid administration. So that was a massive, massive bid. We did not get it. Those are probably the two things I remember about that bid, was being told you're doing bid administration, not bid management, and the fact that we didn't win it. So yeah, that was the first one, Bhaskar.
It's amazing how we get defined by a job title.
Yeah, it's so silly.
And then we get like, oh my God, that's not me. And then you do a role, and then I think that whole title of bid manager, bid coordinator, bid administrator, or proposal manager is all still fluid. I think people need to create their own kind of roles or capabilities around, but that's very valid. And I'm glad that you had a very big deal to start with. But over the years, you might have done a lot more proposals. Isn't any other memorable proposals comes to mind?
Sure, where to start? So there's one. There's many I remember, but let's talk about this. We remember 2010 when we had the Soccer World Cup here in South Africa. I had to finish off a bid, but we had some office party, some office function, and I had 1 or 2 glasses of wine, and then I needed to finish off the bid. And that was my first time realizing that you should not ever consume anything stronger than coffee when you are going to have to close off a bid. So there's that one. Then there's one, it was also some big bid. I think that was for the city of Johannesburg, if I recall. And we needed to print and wrap. And as you know, Murphy would have it, it was late in the evening or early in the morning. You know, when it's dark, you don't really know. And it was myself, it was our CEO, his wife was there, her sister was there, their kids were there, and their kids were still little then. And we had this very long corridor. And I remember rolling this big roll of brown paper down the corridor because we needed so much brown paper to wrap the files that it didn't help I unrolled it in the office. I needed to use this long corridor to just get the paper rolled. And everybody was printing and punching and filing and punching and filing. Yeah, but you know what, it's those sorts of things that make good memories. And that's where I think, I would say friendships are forged, because this was our CEO 15 years ago, and he left EOH 2-3 years ago. I left, and we're still in touch. We're still good friends. So that's, I think, where friendships are forged.
That's amazing. I mean, like we all memorable bits. Thank you for sharing that, Izane. I think, yes, but while you were there in UH, you were also started to not just work on bits, but started to train and present, which you still do till date. So talk us through some of your memorable publications and any training that comes to mind.
So the way the company was structured way back when was a very distributed model. So every business unit would have their own function of bid management, marketing, whatever. And then they decided to consolidate and make it a corporate function. And so I was appointed in the role of group bid office and marketing manager. At that time, they still combined the two. And it was myself and one other lady that I brought from the business unit, Pumzile Masanabu, and we started the bid office in EOH. And then Philippa joined and Larissa joined, and we just grew this thing into what, of course, we thought it was amazing. But when other people started telling us that what we built there was world class, you start paying attention to that. That's also the time when I was introduced to Sandy Pullinger, who at the time owned nFold. And she was also the one that's basically, brought APMP to South Africa. She was the founding APMP member. So Scylla and Sandy was involved in APMP in the beginning. I met Sandy through Scylla. That's how I met APMP and nFold. And with the help of APMP and Sandy, we started building bid processes, tools, templates. We started putting together training internally because now we needed to train other bid managers, other bid administrators, executives, salespeople, anybody who was involved in bid management. We needed to start training them on what is the EOH way and what is the bid process, how to write, how to put together executive summaries. And I've lost count of how many people I've trained, but I don't think I would lie if I say it's 1,000, maybe more, but wow. Yeah, it's a lot.
That's amazing, Izane. So many people you have touched, and I think well deserved as a finalist, as a thought leader, because it's so easy to get boxed and just churn proposals after proposals, but to come back, take time to share your knowledge in the form of articles, in the form of training, and in multitude ways, it's unbelievable. Continue to share even more, Izane. That's beautiful. At what point in your career, I know you usually mentioned Sandy, was there as a founding member, and you talked about Larissa and nFold. Talk us through at what point in your career you came across APMP and your association with the South African chapter.
Thankfully, rather early on in my career. I think without the APMP, I would not have been where I am in my career, my knowledge, my experience, and the ability to support other people in it. So very early on in my bid management career, I attended a training course that Sandy presented, and it was Persuasive Proposals, was based on the Tom Sand book, Persuasive Proposals, or Writing Persuasive Proposals. And it was like a new world opened up to me. I could not believe how awesome the stuff was that they were training. And I went back and was like, our sales manager, our technical lead, our CEO, I was like, guys, we are doing this wrong. There's this amazing way we need to write. We need to do these things. And it just spilled out. Everything that I absorbed from APMP sessions and from Sandy, I just sucked it up like a sponge and spilled it out everyone who was willing to listen. I tried to convert.
That's amazing, typical training there. But talk us through about when did you join APMP South Africa as a member, and also you have been past chair, also still heavily associated with the South African chapter. Talk us through your association and about South African chapter as well as that.
I don't remember the exact date. I would actually have to go and look up my membership, but it must be maybe 15 years ago, 13 or 15 years ago. So I joined APMP as a member, and then very shortly after that, when I say we, it was one or two people in the bid office. We did our foundation certification. I wonder if it was John Williams who came out to do that. I almost want to think it was John Williams, but I might be wrong. And then, yes, I loved everything that APMP did. So when the opportunity came up to join the committee, I jumped at it. I joined the committee. And 3 years after that, I did a stint as the chair. Then my obligations at the company became a little bit too much, and I didn't join APMP as a committee member again after that. I stayed involved in helping with the annual conferences because I just love putting together the events, helping with speakers, that sort of thing, even presenting at the APMP events. So after foundation, of course, the next thing on the career was, now we need to do practitioner. Practitioner was such a daunting thing, but got practitioner. And then you've mentioned in my bio that in 2019, I remember the date, it was the 11th of November. And I know it because we've just been through a hectic drought. And on the 11th of November, I got my professional certification and it rained. So that for me is this, it's marked in my brain, the 11th of November. I keep on putting off doing the next, doing capture practitioner, but I think maybe this year it'll be on the cards. I like the challenge of putting something behind your name. It's difficult, you can do it, you never know, and then you get it, and then you go, oh, why did I ever doubt myself?
Totally. Thank you for sharing that, Izane. Again, no, it's we have been part of the chapter for a long time. You might have seen the growth from where it started to where it is. Talk us through the journey, Izane, and also talk us through, in addition to presenting within South Africa, you also recently presented within BPC Europe as well. Talk us through that as well.
Yes. So it was the first face-to-face APMP conference in Europe in the last 2 years. That was the previous one. Larissa and I presented together, but that was online. So yeah, earlier, where were we now? May, early in April, went to BPC Europe. I presented there on qualification decisions, go, no go. And I base it on, it's so easy to say bid or no bid, be, to be or not to be. And I based it on 5 things that we could learn from Shakespeare about making better bid decisions. I loved the time in Amsterdam. It's an incredible city. Also had the opportunity to go to more the suburban areas. I went to Keukenhof to the flower show. I went to Giethoorn, which is a little place that you can only reach most of the houses by boat. But I guess presenting at APMP Amsterdam was definitely a highlight. I had a challenge because I had a challenge with my flight. I was supposed to fly out on the Saturday. It turned out I had the wrong visa and I couldn't transit through the UK. So I needed to find different flights, make different arrangements. So flying out on Sunday, arriving in Amsterdam at about 11 o'clock the Monday morning, and I was on stage 2 o'clock that afternoon. I think it was just the coffee and the adrenaline that got me through that.
What a journey. I can only imagine what you might have gone through in your mind, because nobody in the audience would have known that you are going through all these things, or you just had it.
No, you need to hide those things. When you're on stage, you're a professional. The fact that I've been on a 15-hour, commute, is it a commute, whatever you call it. I had a shower at Frankfurt airport. There was very beautiful little shower cubicles with your own towels, everything you wanted. So at least I was clean when I was on stage and I had fresh clothes, but I was as tired as a dog.
Totally. And the moment you finished on the stage, the party began.
I crashed. I was like, oh, no, I'm tired.
That's good.
That was an amazing time.
Thank you for sharing this. And I think that shows the level of commitment and, for you to come all the way, and it worked out for you. It could have gone the other way, but it also worked out for you. But let's all the love and support continues for you. So before I hand over you to Ashley, Izane, talk us through your hobbies and interests. Tell us 3 things not many people know about you.
I'm an open book. I think, most people who know me will know everything about me, but I have discovered something about myself that I thought I was a bit, let's say, lost. Is I'm actually very competitive. I like to secretly compete with people. And the fun thing is that Larissa and I have a very friendly banter competitive thing going. I look up to her. I think she's an amazing person in what she does. And I'm like, maybe I can do that better. So it's that secret competitive part of me that maybe people don't know about me. Another thing is I'm a trained hypnotherapist. I did my certification in hypnotherapy, but that was also many years ago. And then the last thing people might not know, many years after I got married, if people asked me about my family, I would say, yeah, my dogs and my husband are all doing well. And it was many years before I put my husband before my dogs. But he didn't mind and he knew it.
Totally. I think it's the same. I think in the moment I got married, once we have the boys, I think I'm just sitting in my own family. It's always the boys at the home. And I'm like, hey, yes. And by the way, he also lives here,
Exactly. It's always the by the way.
Priorities are different. So that's nice. Thank you for sharing it. And I think I'll safely hand you over to Ashley and enjoy the rest of the talk.
Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, Izane. It has been so amazing to hear about your career and all the amazing things that you've accomplished. That story about APMP, BPC Europe was just incredible. I don't think I would have handled it with as much grace as you did.
Thank you.
So before we get into kind of our random rapid fire questions round, which we call the Nutters round after Howard Nut, we'd like to hear about, what do you do in your free time, if you have any? I know you're so busy and do so much, but what do you do for fun?
So quite rightly, yes, free time, it's rather limited. But I like to craft, I like to paint, I like to do a bit of mosaic, bit of clay work. So yeah, anything crafting related. I make some time for reading and I like wine tasting. And, spending time with the dogs.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
And the husband.
And the husband, right? That afterthought, right? Do you have a favorite type of wine?
Red, a red blend, dry red blend, yes.
Nice. And a favorite art piece that you've created?
I created a big mural. So our dogs, of course, have their own bedroom. I don't think surprised, but I created a huge mural on the one wall of a Boston Terrier. Our favorite breed is Boston Terriers. And after my I call her my firstborn, my first little girlie passed away, the mural became sort of a shrine to her. So that's my favorite piece. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, you sound so talented. I'd love to see some of your art sometime.
Oh, I don't mind sharing.
Yeah, it sounds amazing and very varied, right? So it sounds like you can do kind of like artwork on the wall and you mentioned mosaics, which is, its own sort of kind of skill set, plus the clay work. It's, impressive.
Yeah. I get bored if it's just one type of creative outlet. I need the variety.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. You can work with all those mediums and I understand kind of the variety and the need for all the different types.
Thanks.
All right, so we're gonna head into kind of the random questions. No right or wrong answer. Don't think too hard about the answer. And if you don't have an answer, we can just pass, no worries.
Good, let's go.
All right, so what do you wish people would stop asking you?
Where to find something, my husband. Where's the keys? Where's the wallet? Where's this? Where's that? I don't know.
Where did you leave it?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Which superhero would you want to be and why?
Zorro.
Oh,
Zorro has
right.
always been my favorite. I don't know. I mean, he's a male. I suppose you can get a female Zorro as well. Yeah. It's because of the horse.
What's the most courageous thing you've ever done?
Courageous. Get married. Yes.
If you could, yeah, absolutely. If you could only eat 3 foods for the rest of your life, what would you choose and why?
Sushi, vegetables. Is water a food or a drink? What would that count as?
I don't know. I feel like you get water.
Okay, all right. So I won't count water. So sushi, vegetables, dark chocolate.
Ooh, I like that. Well-rounded there. Who haven't you seen or talked to in a long time and hope they're doing okay?
My son, my stepson, who's in China. I haven't seen him for just over 2 years, and he's about to become a dad. And I haven't even met his wife, and I don't know when I'm ever going to meet the baby.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I'd love to have been able to visit them.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the best compliment you've ever received?
I don't know. I don't know. Pass.
Okay. What is your most memorable kitchen fail?
Frying eggs. I cannot fry an egg to save my life, so I've given up on that. My mom once burnt boiled eggs.
What?
I mean, burnt to a crisp. Yes, she forgot them on the stove, and she left to go shopping.
Oh my goodness!
I'm not that bad, but I can't do a fried egg.
They can be quite tricky. Would you rather lose the ability to write or the ability to speak?
Speak.
It's a tough choice there, huh?
It is.
If you could visit any place in the world, where would you choose to go to and why?
Scotland. I have this, it's maybe not, maybe it's just a dream, but I see these green, wet, cold fireplace wine sort of image when I think of Scotland.
Yes. Very lush, right, is what you think of for Scotland.
That's my impression.
What is one food you could never bring yourself to eat?
So I don't know if you're familiar with something called offal, but it's basically the head, the eyes, the tongue, the intestine type thingies of sheep and cows. It's like that is so gross, and it's a delicatessen for some people, but that's gross. That's horrible. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that either.
No. Just no.
Do you ever talk to yourself?
Oh, all the time. I even sometimes ask myself to repeat what I said.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And I shared an office one time and had to, warn my office mate that when I'm in my zone, I'm sorry if I'm bothering you, just let me know.
Actually, I once called myself by a different name, by my friend's name. Now, that was a wake-up call for me. It's like, that's not my name.
Oh my goodness. What is something that you have of sentimental value?
I have a lot. I'm actually maybe too sentimental. My dog's teddy bear.
Oh. And probably that mural on your wall, right?
Yeah. No, it's very sentimental, but something that I can carry with me is my dog's teddy bear.
Oh, that's very sweet. So who are the people who've been the most influential in your life and career?
Family-wise, it would be my dad and my aunt. They've both passed. And my aunt was a woman first for many things in South Africa. And she broke quite a few molds where women was not supposed to go or allowed to go or just didn't go before. So that for me was if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And then my dad, he just never let me believe that I could not do what I wanted to do. Like, do it. There's nothing in your way. There's nothing that stops you.
Yeah. Both amazing people, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then in your career, anybody that stands out?
My career, so I've already mentioned Sandy and Larissa, but I would have to, it would be amiss if I do not mention Lucky Kumalu, one of my former CEOs, and then Zunaid Mayet, also a former CEO and boss and mentor of mine. Very, very influential in my career.
That's great. So what is one personal trait that you like most about yourself?
I don't get angry very quickly. I'm surprisingly patient. When I say surprising, I surprise myself.
That's definitely an important trait in proposals.
Yeah.
So what have you observed lately, particularly in these kind of COVID times that we're still hanging out in, that has reminded you that people are kind?
There's a lot of things. So I'm involved in animal rescue. Again, that's probably not a big surprise because I've mentioned my dog so many times. And in animal rescue, you come across very cruel people, the cruelest. And then you also come across the kindest people. So that's the first place where I always am amazed at how kind people can be. But I want to tell you about this thing that happened recently. So last week was my and my husband's wedding anniversary. And we booked at a place to stay. And when we got there, first of all, it was cold. There was no aircon. There was no underfloor heating. There was no fireplace. But that was okay. We could live with that. And then when I pulled away the covers, there were ants and ant larvae in the bed, which is, of course, totally disgusting. So now we're stuck. Long story short, we ended up at a beautiful little cottage in Hartbeespoort. And the owners of the Airbnb felt sorry for us and they didn't even charge us for the weekend. So there are kind people out there.
Yes, there really are.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful story. So what is one common myth about our profession that you'd like to debunk?
That you can use the previous proposal again, that it's copy and paste, that it won't take so long. People always underestimate how long it takes. So, yeah. So I know there's not one, but there's so many things people don't understand about our profession.
Absolutely.
When I met my husband, he couldn't understand what it is that I did. He didn't understand bid management. And so he would tell people that I copy and paste.
Oh, no.
That's
that would hurt my heart.
I copied and pasted.
My goodness. Does he understand a little bit more that it's at least not copy and paste?
He does, yes.
Good. So what advice would you give your fellow bid and proposal professionals who are listening today?
Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself in the job. Your well-being, your health is not worth it. That's the one thing. That's a kind thing. And then the soft skill, and then the hard skill sort of thing that people need to know, or advice that I want to give, is plan. I know this sounds so silly, but plan and plan and plan. Yeah.
Both very important things. So is there anything today that you had hoped to discuss that we haven't covered on the podcast?
Well, women in this profession. So I think, I'm going to put my foot in it, but looking at the finalists that the APMP announced recently, and looking at the profession in general, I still think that women should take up a stronger position, and whether they don't feature because they don't want to, or for whatever the reason is, I'm not professing I know what the reason is, but come on, women, let's stand together. Let's do this thing and, support one another. That's a big thing, is don't backstab one another. Support women in the profession, women supporting women in the profession.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely important for all those women out there listening, and step up and become those strong leaders.
Lift as you rise. That's the saying, lift as you rise.
So Izane, before we conclude, we'd love to know, what is next for you? What are you looking forward to in the future?
I just completed my first year at nFold as a co-owner, director, entrepreneur, business owner. So my next is exactly what I've done the last year. I loved the last year. It's been hectic. I mean, it's been COVID. It's not been an easy ride, but I've loved every minute of it, and I want more. So I'm not going anywhere. My next is nFold.
That's so great, and we can't wait to see what you do with the organization and how you guys grow. That's amazing.
Thank you. We're very blessed. We're a wonderful group of people together who's all just so talented and so dedicated. I couldn't ask for a better place to be.
Oh, that's so great when you're just excited about work like that.
Yeah. It's my happy place.
Oh, it's so lovely. Well, thank you so much, Izane, for your time today. It's really been a privilege to have you here with us at Scribble Talk. We wish you all the good health and happiness. Please continue to inspire the bid and proposal professionals around you and everyone else. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Please visit batchyscribble.com/podcast to listen to this episode and check out any of our other previously recorded episodes. If you've enjoyed today's interview, don't forget to subscribe, review, and share the Scribble Talk podcast. We hope you'll check out our next episode where we interview another industry expert and special guest. Until then, it's Ashley Kays,
Pastor Sundram,
signing off.